All right. Washington Redskins. Chase Young starts and ends there, right? Their draft starts and ends with the #2 overall selection, the edge rusher, the first defensive player taken, the defensive class here. And a lot of people think this is the #1 player on the board. Redskins trying to get it done, and they start with defense. All right, let's recap the Washington Redskins draft. Pete Prisco, I'll start with you. Overall, what'd you like what the Redskins did here? How do you see how things unfolded in D.C.?
Well, I like what they did, obviously, at the top. I mean, you get a pass rusher like Chase Young. You can't pass that up. It's a passers and pass rusher league. You got to be able to knock that guy down when he's trying to make plays, and Chase Young could do that. It was a no-brainer at #2. But I really like 2 and 3 for that, or 2 and 4. I liked Antonio Gibson. He was one of my guys. Played wide receiver, but I think he's a running back. He's a tough kid. He's fast. He's one of the fastest running backs in this draft. I do like that pick. He's going to push guys in there, and I'll tell you what, when you look at what he can do, catching the ball out of the backfield, because he has been a wide receiver, he fits in any offense. And then I like Sadiq Charles, the 4th-round pick, the tackle out of LSU. Had some off-the-field issues, but if he can straighten things out, he can be a quality starting left tackle in this league for a long time. He's tough. He's feisty. He has added weight, which he needed to do, which will help him on the next level.
I'm going to talk about some of the other back-end draft picks, looking at a guy like Antonio Gandy-Golden, for example, a wide receiver. You get this big-bodied target now with a wide catch radius. He can high-point the football. He's aggressive at attacking the football. You pair him with Terry McLaurin. I think that provides you a nice option, along with Gibson, who really is a running back / wide receiver. Almost reminds me of going back in the day, old Cleveland Browns, Eric Metcalf. He's got that sort of ability to me. I know probably kids at home have no idea who that is, but I grew up idolizing Metcalf and his ability to kind of do both those things. I think Kalika Hudson, the linebacker out of Michigan, not necessarily blessed with the best size or even overall athleticism, but this guy's just a football player. And I know that sounds vague, and we say that sometimes, but what it means is his hat's always around the football. Usually when there was a forced fumble or someone was making a play, he was the guy that was there. He was one of the leaders on that defense and making that happen. And he does supply some versatility with what they asked him to do within Don Brown's defense there at Michigan. So I love that pick for value. I think not only one as a special teams player, but someone who could eventually develop to end up being an impact player on their defense.
I'll start with Chase Young. I do think he is the best NFL success rate player in this draft, ahead of Joe Burrow, ahead of Tua Tagovailoa, ahead of some of these other picks that went high. As far as the risk that's involved with quarterbacks. I mean, Joe Burrow, how is he going to be in that system? Is there going to be some time for him to get acclimated to the NFL? Tua, we don't know about his health. Chase Young doesn't have any question marks. He could come in and make an instant impact and should do so for quite a long time. So I think from that standpoint, you started off the draft really solid. Then you had to add some weapons. Terry McLaurin had a sensational year, kind of flew under the radar, then burst on the scene, had a really solid first season. But they need to surround, a young quarterback in Dwayne Haskins with some talent out there. Gibson, you talked about the versatility to his game. If you can get creative with him, find ways to get him in the ball, whether it's even handed to him on some speed sweeps, get the ball in his hand, but you can also have him as a route runner as well. And Antonio Gandy-Golden out of Liberty is a tall, physical, massive catch radius type guy. Had a little bit of the drops at Liberty, but if you get him to eliminate those, can really present some mismatches. So I think the Redskins here have done a pretty solid job.
I think it's interesting. We were having this conversation a month ago that maybe the Redskins are going to trade out of #2 or perhaps take a quarterback. I think that clearly they stayed put and was the right decision. Chase Young is a layup every day of the week. It'll be the easiest pick you can make in this entire draft class. And then you have those playmakers on offense that you guys are talking about. And I want to see how they're integrated into making Dwayne Haskins a better quarterback. We know about Scary Terry McLaurin, who had a huge year last year as a 3rd-round pick. They also have Kelvin Harmon, a 6th-round pick, who sort of fell off the map in the draft a year ago from now, has a chance to come back and be an Antonio Gandy-Golden type player. So that's one more weapon they have, who is virtually a draft pick because he didn't do much last year.